What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Rumors swirl about upcoming changes, 222, Role Lock, the Overwatch League, and more. How much of it is true? What's rumor? And can they do it right now? Over the last couple months, we've been getting a little bit of information from the Overwatch devs, most notably Jeff Kaplan, about a 222 role lock and a role queue for the competitive ladder. The message that we've been getting, though, is that the dev team is not completely on board with adding this sort of thing to the game. Although Jeff Kaplan did say that if they were going to add it, they already know how they would do it. Clearly, something like this requires a great deal of time and effort to implement, but as I talked about in previous videos, these limitations for the general player base do not apply to the Overwatch League. And in case you didn't know, there are several different versions of the game client. There's the main one that all of us use to play on, then there's the PTR where we can test stuff, there's a couple of private test clients that only Blizzard gets to see, which includes things like unfinished characters, maps, and that sort of stuff, and then there's a couple of tournament versions that are used for the World Cup and the Overwatch League. Let's pretend for a moment that I'm on the official Overwatch League client that they use for their games. If I were to go to play, and then I tried to do quick play, it wouldn't find anybody, because there's quite literally nobody else on there. So what they do in order to make these matches is they use something that's probably similar to the game browser. It's not exactly the same. And then they create a custom game, and they fill in all of the different players from each team, and they change the names and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure they have all kinds of different presets where they just pull it up and it's done instantly. Then they can add in all of the different spectator cameras that they're going to use during the broadcast. Well, let me show you something. If you go into modes, you can go to all, and then you can go to limit roles, 2 of each role per team. This is already in the game. We can do it on the regular version of the client. I'm sure they can do it on the Overwatch League version of the client as well. This is already done. Literally, the only thing they would need to do in order to enable the 222 role lock in the Overwatch League is to simply change this setting. That's it. They could do it right now. Now, I don't think it would be a good idea in the middle of a stage and, all the grand final kind of situation that they're in right now. But at the start of the next stage, what's to stop them from just turning this on? So this is where the rumors come in, because there have been a couple of sources that have leaked information in the past or have connections to Blizzard that are talking about, or at least seem to be hinting, that Blizzard is going to be implementing a Force 222 in the upcoming stages of the Overwatch League. It might not be the next stage, it might be the one after that, or possibly even sometime next year, but it seems from what these rumors are saying is that it would be a lot sooner than waiting until next year. There are some good and bad things about this for the Overwatch League. So let's take a look at some of those reasons. We'll start with what's good. First thing to understand is that the Overwatch League, for the vast majority of us, is a viewing experience. We're not going to play in it anytime soon. And as a viewing experience, no one wants to watch a pro sports team that just runs the same play again and again and again. It gets really boring really fast, and that's the situation that the Overwatch League has found itself in. Most of the comments from people that I see who no longer watch it is because they just don't find it interesting anymore. They don't want to see the same comp every single match. It just got boring. So that leads to the very first good thing to talk about if they do implement this Force 222 in the Overwatch League, in that it would get rid of GOATS comp. So despite the recent nerfs to Brigitte, to D.Va, to Lucio, to Zenyatta, and the buffs to a variety of anti-GOATS characters, the meta is still GOATS comp, or at least a variation of the triple tank, triple support. Even if they're not running triple tank, they're almost always running triple support. Now, sometimes they use Winston instead of Reinhardt and that sort of deal, but again, the concept is still there. At the beginning of the stage, the teams were using Bunker and other non-GOATS team comps, but a lot of that was just experimentation, and it's kind of been phased out. As it turns out, GOATS comp, or some variation of the triple-triple, is still the best comp in the vast majority of situations, and that's why the teams keep using it. So from a purely viewing experience, it would be a lot more interesting immediately. From the perspective of the players in the league, it might be a little bit of a mixed bag. Sure, it would be exciting to play new characters that they're just not able to in a triple tank, triple support type lineup, But also you have to realize that they've been practicing this stuff for a very long time, so if suddenly they have to play something else, it might be a little bit of a rocky deal. But let's talk about the bad. First and foremost, the game is not balanced for 2-2-2. Jeff Kaplan even admitted that some of the characters, most notably Brigitte, would require some significant changes if the game moved into a forced 2-2-2 situation. This also creates some issues with the fact that they can't rebalance the characters until the change was made to the main version of the game. Blizzard can't start balancing the characters for 2-2-2 in the Overwatch League if that's not what the general player base is using. It would create a lot of problems. So for at least the early parts of the Overwatch League, if they were to use the 2-2-2, there would be some little extra balancing issues to go along with it. Another bad thing, I suppose, is that if it is successful in the Overwatch League and people really like it, then there's going to be great demand for it to be added to the game immediately for everyone else. But as I mentioned earlier, it's probably going to take a while, so for at least some players, there might be a little bit of this resentment. Well, why does the Overwatch League have it already and we don't? Because you care about the Overwatch League more than the regular players and this and that and blah, 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 blah. But as I said, they can just turn it on for the Overwatch League, and it would require a lot of effort to add it for everyone else. So I think that Blizzard should absolutely use the 2-2-2 role lock for the next stage of the Overwatch League, even if it's just used as a test for that one stage. I think the potential for good far outweighs the potential bad, and even if it doesn't work, it's still going to be really good information that can be used in creating a better solution down the line. So what do you guys think? Do you think the rumors are true? Are they going to start forcing 2-2-2 in the next stage of the league? And if they do, is it something that you would like to see? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.